In this video I'm going to show you how to turn a spur gear cutter using the gear cutter task. The method is also suitable for cutting a radius cutter or a pulley cutter. You need a workpiece. Mine is 8 mm in diameter and 25 mm long. You need an arbor to hold the workpiece, having a grub screw on the top and on the side. You need a spacer that will give clearance when cutting the cutter. Let's get started. Mount the workpiece and tight the grub screw. Measure the diameter of the grub screw and the arbor, 26 mm. Place the arbor in the chuck. So select the setup task and set your stock length. Select the facing task. Select the tool you use to face and place it. I use this tool. I have a start diameter of 7.5. The horn diameter a bit larger, 41. Let's go home. And lock your Gibbs screws of the top slide. I select a very moderate cutting depth. I do a last pass of 0.1 mm at a rate of 50% and a cutting depth of 0.2 mm for the rest. And this one I don't use because the workpiece is only held by that small grub screw. Set the facing mode to facing depth and select a facing depth of 0.5 mm. Reset total cut. Turn on your spindle. And press auto cut. Measure the diameter, 26.5. I have a starting diameter of 0.38 and I want to cut about 10 millimeters. That means an ending diameter of 18. Reset total cut and set the cutting depth to half the diameter of your work piece minus 0.1 millimeter. Then the cutting edge will be turned at the center of the workpiece and you have 0.1 millimeter for grinding. Reset cut. Now the grub screw has a fixation on the flat, so we can turn a bit faster. I selected 0.35 millimeters for my lathe. Turn on the spindle and press auto cut. It's a nice flat. Remove the arbor. We are now going to place the arbor in the chuck using a spacer. The spacer is going on top so that both the top claws connect to it. I use my spacer for the offset. Check if both claws gripping on the spacer. Set turn the workpiece so that it aligns to the back claw and then firmly tighten the chuck. We are now going to turn the cutting edges of the right and left side. You can use a normal tool, a left and right tool, or a parting tool, but I prefer this tool. It's a triangle cutting insert at a 90-degree angle, and I can use this to cut the left and the right side. Place the tool. I forgot to measure the diameter of the workpiece and the arbor. .26. We select the turning task. and press the GPTS button. We are going to turn the tip of the cutter. I measured 26 millimeters diameter of the cutter and the arbor. That means I need a starting diameter of 35.4 millimeters. We make it a bit larger to be sure and to show you how to calculate the diameter. So we set a starting diameter of 37 millimeters. End position is -8 because we have an 8 millimeters diameter workpiece. We reset total cut and we use very moderate cuts. We start at 0.1 millimeter and a feed rate of 100 millimeters a minute. We have to select the tool. It should be a foam cutter. This one. Press go home. To be sure, we start the repeat job without turning the spindle. Yes, it is safe to start. I increase the cutting depth to 0.2 millimeters and we repeat cutting until we hear the tool touching the workpiece. Then we press finish. We now have a diameter at cut of 35.6 millimeters. We measured 26 millimeters of the workpiece and the arbor. Multiply that value by 2. 26 times 2. That is 52. Subtract the diameter at cut minus 35.6. That means we have to subtract 16.4 millimeters of the measured diameter of the workpiece and the arbor times 2. And that value we can use in future to set the starting diameter. We now cut until the whole face of the workpiece has gone. That only needs a few cuts. Press repeat. Press finish. The cutting edge is nice. Press totalize. Diameter at cut was 34. Select the form cutter task gear cutter and press the get previous setting button GPTS. We start cutting at the Z plus side. The tool width is coming from the database, 10.41 millimeters. I want a 45 tooth gear having a module 1.5. and a pressure angle of 20 degrees. The end position -8 is the diameter of the workpiece. The start diameter is retracted from the previous task. The home position is 41. Reset total cut. We cut at a very modest rate. I end at half the feed rate at 0.5 millimeters. 0.1 the previous one, and all other cuts at 0.25 millimeters cutting depth. It takes about 15 cuts to cut one side. So start the spindle and press auto cut. One side is done. Cutting edge looks good. Press the cutting side, set to get set minus, reset total cut, and start your spindle. Press auto cut. Done. Nice sharp cutting edges. As you can see, there is a small relief due to the offset. This is the gear. That's a nice fit. But we can check the tip. The tip should be 1.27 millimeters. When I set my calipers to 1.5, then it's getting in completely. When I set it to 1, only one edge can fix. And by increasing your calipers, you can measure pretty accurate the width of the tip. .33 is too much, and 1.25 to 3 is too little. So this is okay. Thank you for watching.